Buenos dias, Gunnerz Collective TV. Back at it, you already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye up, bye up. Let's get to the intro. Welcome back to Gunnerz Collective TV. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content that the gun stays kicking. Now, I appreciate the support, man. I'm very humbled by it. Thank you guys so much. So I have a Primo, Latin Active 209. Make sure you guys go support him. Tap into his TikTok, his Instagram, his YouTube channel. He's doing his thing, right? He's doing his thing. And in fact, when I first started YouTube, he tapped in with me. And he was making me t-shirts and looking out, man. He was definitely looking out. And, you know, I got love for my family, straight up, no matter what. Sometimes you don't see eye to eye and you bump heads like a rama. But at the end of the day, blood is thicker than agua, right? Blood is thicker than water, and it's always going to be that. There's no denying we might not get along all the time, but we're going to get along all the time. You understand what I'm saying? So my Primo Latin Active 209 decides, you know, to push his channel, which is a cool thing for him and his familia. And to him, I know he makes big dollars, man. He has a good-ass job. To him, it's more of a hobby than anything, but he's definitely making correct moves. Now, I will say this, my Primo is in good standings. He's a family man. He's not doing the gangbanging thing, man. He's been out of that mix for a long time. It's just not what he's into. And he did do federal time. He did, you know, handle his business like a man. And so I have nothing ill to say about my Primo whatsoever. You know, I'm not the type to speak bad upon my family, but I keep it real about my family. I will say this, though. I'm happening to scroll on one of the social media platforms, and I see that he did a pull-up. The pull-up was real. He decided for whatever reason to pull up to Pixley, big old gigantic Pixley in Tulare County, the city of Tommy Gunz, the rapper. Soul gang, right? I hate Northerners. Tommy Gunn, right? And he pulls up to Pixley for whatever reason, and I guess he decides to, you know, show you the ins and outs of Tommy Gunn's neighborhood. Tommy Gunn had just prior did an interview where he talked about his city, he talked about his neighborhood. He talked about Northerners are not allowed in his city. They're in the surrounding area, of course, Porterville, Visalia, Tulare, all that. But they're not in big old Pixley. Hell no, we won't go. They're not allowed, right? And that his neighborhood is nothing but Southerners, and his hood is just dominant. They dominate everything, all the way from the burger stand to the fucking gas station, on down to the fucking post office. That's all them. Well, my Primo got a wild hair up his ass because he decided to pull up to Pixie. He must have been traveling from where he lives throughout Northern California, because I seen him in Madera, showing the North and South Division, which he was off a little bit. You know, he was showing you the actual factual where the palm trees ended. I know exactly where he was on Highway 99. But truth be told, we all know that North and South, the division, when it comes to gangs, is pretty much a little bit past Delano, right? Bakersfield on back. But whatever, he did his thing. He pulls up to Pixley and he wants to show you guys Tommy Gunn's hood. You know, when I say Tommy Gunn's hood, there's going to be people like, he didn't pull up to his hood. Well, according to Tommy Gunn's, that whole city is his hood. And I know about things like that because Livingston, there's only one gang in Livingston. Now, Livingston's probably about the size of Pixley, but it's more congested. There's more stores. It's bigger. And in Livas, they have one gang, you know, Livas Norteños, and they dominate. I've lived there before. I could tell you right now, it's a city that is a dangerous situation. As small as it is, there's nowhere you can go without not seeing Norteños, and they're on it. They're functioning. They're programming. They'll hit you up. They want to see paperwork on the streets. Like, it's that serious. You go in, you might not come out. They got a lot of bodies there. Not buried either, just right there. So I understand about one gang dominating a city. So when he pulls up to Pixley, my Primo, and it is my cousin, my blood cousin, he wants to show you guys exactly what's going on. So he shows us, you know, that there's a population of 3,000 in Tommy Gunn's hood. And again, no disrespect. It doesn't matter where you're from. It matters where you're going. You know, everyone's going to have love for their city. I don't care if it's fucking population of 3. So gang, they're going to have love for it, right? But the way this Vato talks, Tommy Gunz, like, he comes from like real hardship and struggle. So I guess my primo wanted to show or see for himself what type of struggle it is. So he mobbed all throughout the city of Pixley, which took him all of 7 minutes and 32 seconds. So as he goes, he pulls up at a gas station, which I've seen this gas station in the past. I've seen there was another, it was a Northerner, in fact, that was in the city of Pixley at that exact same gas station. He was all flamed up. He was looking for Tommy Gunz. You know, that back and forth internet gangbanging shit. My primo didn't come in like that. He came in peace, just doing his thing. But in the video where Tommy Gunz was doing the interview, he said, everybody knows who he is. You know, everyone claims that in your city. Oh, everybody knows me. And the truth is, you can never, ever know everybody because there's certain circles and certain people that you do not associate with. They just don't know who you are. They don't listen to rap music. They're not into the gangbanging. They're not into whatever you got going on. So your paths never cross. They might cross in like just walking around, or you might pull up where they're at, but they don't notice you because they're not trying to notice you. And you don't notice them because there's no threat there. There's no reason to notice them. So when my primo goes to the store, he asked the guy who works in the store, a la gun, right? He took that out of my page book, out of my book, page out of my book when I pulled up to Lazy Boy from Sanjo's neighborhood to ask if they knew who Lazy Boy was, if they seen him lately. And of course, the Hindu guy that was working there said no, he didn't know. He hadn't seen. He knew Lazy Boy. He did, but he hadn't seen Lazy in a couple years in that store. Look at my dog in the back, fucking looking for something to piss on. He's gonna piss on the Jordan 4s. So, anyways, with that being said, my primo asked the guy. He has no idea who Tommy Gunz is. So there's one guy that doesn't know him, and he continues the theme throughout the video of going throughout Tommy Gunz's neighborhood. Like I said, from the post office to the burger stand, they don't even got a fucking McDonald's. I tripped out. That is the only town that I know that doesn't got a McDonald's. McDonald's is slipping. They better set up shop in Pixley because Tommy Gunz is putting them on their back and blowing them up, right? Their population next year might be 3,160 or 3,113. Suit gang. He's blowing them up. So the whole get down was, I see my primo getting a little bit of a backlash in the comment section. What were you going to do if you seen Tommy Gunz? Why you pull up? Are you posing a threat? Buster this, that, all kinds of shit. I don't think that was the intention. The intention was to show you guys where this guy comes from, because people see him and they're like thinking, oh, he's all gang banged out. He's tatted down. He's a black dude from a Mexican neighborhood. They must be thick out there. And the truth of the fact is there's not very many of them. Pixley is a grain of sand in the Sahara Desert. And that motherfucker's bone dry. There's more yellow grass than there is green grass there. Now, does that mean the dude doesn't have heart? The dude's not with the program? Obviously, you know, a couple vatos that worked the fields decided to set up shop there one time for their mind, or someone passed through LA and was like, hey, this is a perfect little town to establish. Planted their flag. Next thing you know, we have fucking Tommy Gunz gang. He's the only black guy in the whole area. And he's like, fuck it. I'm going to kick it with the essays. You know, I respect what he's doing. He's making his music. He's blowing up. He's doing his thing. But with that comes a lot of scrutiny. A lot of people wanting to know if where you're from is exactly or approximately like you say. You know, when Tommy Gunz is saying, hey, man, we're handling business. These Northerners know not to come around because we'll give them the business. Like, I've seen plenty of times now where dudes have went over there just like, where's he at? Of course, Tommy Gunz, we all know, is in LA, or he's somewhere else doing it, moving and grooving, trying out new clothes, looking for your fly ass baby mama, right? That's what he's doing at this point with a bunch of youngsters. They're young kids, man. They're making money. They're having the time of their life. They're getting blessed with all this wardrobe. I mean, this dude is like he's in La La Land right now. And I don't mean LA, right? No disrespect. He's like in his own mind in a La La Land. He's happy. You know, say, I got the golden ticket. It's ours. That's his soul gang, right? He's happy. You know, the thing I don't like about Tommy Gunz, though, the one thing is the disrespect for the North consistently, all the time, every song, every video. It's like, bro, if you were putting in work and these dudes never posed a threat and they're suckers and they never did nothing to you, why you keep talking about them all the time? Let it go. You've moved on from little old Pixley, bro. You've moved on from Pixie Sticks. You're now over there in Los Angeles, chilling with the real Southsiders, doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? Or go to Sanjo with some real upstaters. You know what I mean? Hey, Salas, or wherever. This vato has said a lot, and he's disrespected a lot. So people are pull up. They want to see. And my primo just happened to be one of them. So he showed Tommy Gunz's neighborhood, and there wasn't much to see. A couple cows, like I said, a post office. And it's crazy because, and I get what Tommy Gunz was saying. When Tommy Gunz did an interview, he was like, you You know, my hood's everywhere. Even the post office is my hood. If I want to hang out right there, I hang out right there. Now, I've never in my life seen any gang members posted up at the post office. That's gay, you know what I'm saying? Where they're are they waiting on a package or they're mailing something out or something coming in important? Never seen it. But, you know, I understand the metaphor there. I understand what he was saying. Basically, everything is my hood. My hood is the only gang there. And that leads me to another head scratching question, right? Gunnerz Collective is wild, right? I know it. You know, I'm talking about myself in the third person. So gang, right? Third person gang. Look, if you are the only gang right there, who's your enemigos? You don't come from a struggle or strive because if you say, hey, no one coming over here, they know what time it is, then how do you know what time it is when the time comes to know what time it is? If there's no one there, you know, that's just a question I ask myself. Again, Tommy Gunz allegedly is some hardcore gangster from Pixley, but he's a rapper. And he needs to worry about rapping first and foremost before he worries about, you know, a gangbanging. Because when the shit gets real, the shit gets ill. Like a Beastie Boys song. They're going to get Brass Monkey on you. You know, the funky monkey. You know, they're going to Paul Revere. You know, they're going to pull up on you. And my Primo, and all his craziness, man, and I love him. He pulled up. And he didn't pull up to fight. He didn't pull up to antagonize or disrespect. He pulled up to see what the big old city of Pixley was about and to show everybody out there where Tommy Gunz is from. Now, people have pulled up to Merced. I remember Lucky from Hoodstocks. He pulled up to Merced, did a few little burpees right there. He was on G Street, right across from Yosemite High. I know exactly where he was at, right? He did that. I recognized, and I was like, that's right. He's in Mercedes in the town, man. Like I said, I talked to a couple homeboys that were like, yeah, that fucking Southsider came in. Man, stop it, bro. There's Vatos from A-Town all up in the town, right? You got to start with them before you get to down south. Then I remember when a Vato King, I think it's Neil Dazad. Remember Neil Dazad? Shit. He's like a faint, distant memory. But I remember Neil Dazad. And I know he's a real one because my Primo Wicked said he's a real one, right? But or my Primo Loco, excuse me. And that Vato pulled up to right outside Merced, like when you're leaving the outskirts, there's like a gas station. You're like almost by Chowchilla, right? He was out there by Gustin, where fucking Super Norteño lives. Whoopin', I would have got him if I'd have seen him. Whoopin', right? He pulled up to a gas station, like, I'm all up in Merced and this and that. And I was like, that's right. See, anybody could pull up anywhere. And it's not meant to disrespect someone. Sometimes it is. Sometimes if a motherfucker's like, pull up, okay, right? They do. You know, if there's disrespect, then disrespect will be handled swiftly. But with my Primo, I think he was just trying to show everyone, hey, this is Pixley. This is where Tommy Gunz comes from. This is what he's talking about. And there wasn't much to see, man. I'm going to be honest with you. You know, but I grew up in the Central Valley. Merced, it's not a very big city. A little bit over 100,000, if that. And I'm used to small town living. In fact, I love living in smaller towns. I don't like living in big cities. Big cities, too much traffic, too much drama, too much fucking people, too many gangs, too much different shit. I like little towns, you know what I'm saying, out the way. Now, I'm a fisherman. I like to fish, can't do my thing. So I like to be out the way. So I grew up and I'm used to it. So when I see someone from a little town like Exeter, Early Mart, Pixley, Gustine, El Nido, you know, Winton, these little towns, doesn't mean they're not with the business. Doesn't mean they ain't got some hitters. Hitters grow up from everywhere. Everywhere. Man, I seen this one paisa dude that grew up on a farm that'll whack everything in sight. This motherfucker will milk a cow in the morning and milk your old lady at night. Like, he was not playing. He was a true hitter. So with my Primo pulling up and I see the backlash he's getting, people are like, you're just trying to disrespect. I don't think it was that, man. I think he was giving you guys a tour. He's in Northern California right now. He's like, man, let me show you guys where all these people that are semi-famous on the internet or that got a following on the internet, where they come from. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if he wiggles through Merced to show you where I'm from, right? He's from Turlock, a smaller town too. You know, like I've said in all my videos, and it's the truth, he'll tell you, ask him. My family is so infested in the city of Turlock, they're like roaches. We are related to the cockroaches. Straight up, if you see a roach for a West Side, that's my Primo. That's a fact. You know what I mean? Anyways, Latin Active 209 did pull up, man. And I don't think he pulled up aggressive. He didn't look that way. He did, like I said, pull a page out of my book and go ask the guy at the store if he knew Tommy Gunz. And it's just because when someone says, everybody knows me, I'm the man. Like, that's not the truth, bro. I grew up in Merced my whole life. There's not a lot of people that know me. If I went back right now, only the people that see me on the internet would probably know me, or family or friends that are close. I could wiggle tomorrow and people wouldn't even know who I was. they'd be like, look at that fucking weird looking dude with the funny ass beard going gray and shit. No one would even trip. So I understand what he was trying to accomplish. People are taking it different. Tommy Gunz is from the smallest little town in Tulare County. In Tulare County, when he says, man, I come from Tulare County, there's nothing but hitters. There are in Visalia, in Porterville, in Dinuba, in Lindsay, in Exeter. But I don't know about Pixley. Tommy Gunz is the only person I've ever met that represents Pixley. And hey, shout out to him for having the balls and being brave enough to do that and say that. Because you're only as good as where you're from, right? But it's not like people think like, oh man, this dude was hardcore gangbanging every day. He went through some. He's like, I grew up in the system. I did this, I did that. Like, no, bro. You were hanging out at the post office, eating a burger from the local burger stand, getting one of those Pepsis on crushed ice that tastes bomb. And he was like, soul gang. Hey, stop it, bro. I always tripped. No disrespect to the upstaters, but I always tripped. Like I would see, I respect the upstate Southsiders that are like represent, like the ones in San Jose, they wear the San Jose Shark shit. Like they're from San Ho, homie. They're not denying where they're from, right? But I would see Vatos like in Merced or Atwater, and they would be wearing all Dodger stuff. Anything LA they can get their hands on. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck if it was the LA Galaxy. You know what I'm saying? That WNBA team. If they could get something LA, they were on it. And I used to be, and my primo, he was a Southsider from A-Town. And his homeboys would be right there. I'd be at the pad at my grandma's house. Now, I'm not scared of nothing. I'd be right there like, North Day gang, right? Dude, gang banging like a motherfucker. And I used to ask him questions like, hey, bro, why are you wearing all Dodger shit? You Dodger fan and shit? Not Charlie, homie. You know what I'm saying? I'm representing for the homies from Los. I said, they don't need you to do that for them. They got them. They're at the Santa Fe swap meets with the 213 Troll line dancing. Why are you represent? Why don't you represent like an Atwater Falcon or something like that's where you're from, homie? Does that guy do that too, eh? Say, who are you to tell me? I said, I'm nobody. You know what I'm saying? I'm to do that. If you step fucking one line past my grandma's house, I'm gonna bop your shit off. That's who I am, right? But at the end of the day, I just always tripped on it, And to me, it was kind of like you're faking the funk. You're doing too much, That's like a northerner that's fucking just acting all crazy. Well, got birds all over him. Like, bro, you ain't even been in prison yet. You haven't earned nothing. Stop it. You're doing way too much. I keep it straight. I keep it a buck 100. Oh, power! I got to keep it back 100 on you. But as far as my primo pulling up, for those that are saying, oh, he would disrespect it or he pulled up with bad intentions, nah. Now, I'll tell you about that primo, that particular primo. You guys call him Latin Active 209. I call him Junior, right? Me and his father were very good. Rest in peace to my fucking primo. His dad was my cousin. And, man, I remember that one time that motherfucker took me out to New Mexico to go work. And the whole crew was on Scante. I didn't know. Man, we went out there. We went out to a farm in Belen, New Mexico, right? His dad picks me up. Latin Active 209's dad picks me up. I just got out of prison. I needed a jale. I was living with my tia. She called him like, hey, Junior, can you help? Right? He was like, yeah. So, man, he picks me up. He's like, hey, we're going to make like 20,000 in like 3 days each. I said, hell no, bro. What are we going to do? You're going to hit the big or what? You know what I'm saying? Tell him I'm going to carve him up real nice. What movie's that from? So I'm like, I got it. He's like, no, we're going to go fucking do this flooring for this farm way out in Belen, New Mexico. So we travel out there. The company's paying for everything. I remember, right? They paid about cigarettes, any sodas you want to store, beer, whatever. Motherfuckers are drinking, driving and drinking, right? We're doing our thing. What I didn't realize is every time we stopped at a gas station, these motherfuckers was hitting the pookie. They was in the motherfucking bathroom bubbling, right? I should have smelt it from my adventures with Roach, but I was too busy thinking about the 20,000 and what casino I was going to spend it at. So as I'm chilling, we pull up probably like about 1 a.m. to this place. And I'm thinking we're going to get a hotel room, right? So we do. We go get a hotel room. It's 1 bedroom, two beds. We're not going to be there much, but it's if you need to sleep it off, right? Everyone drops their bags. They're like, we're going to pull up to the site and go look at it. In the morning, we'll get to work. Well, I didn't realize they meant morning, like 1:15 in the morning. Man, we pulled up. They started taking drills and these big old fucking machines off. And I'm like, I'm tired, right? I just went on a long ride. I'm like, I thought we were going to go back to the hotel and get some shut-eye. Shit. These motherfuckers hadn't shut their eyes for 2 weeks yet. Man, they got to working. I was so tired, man. How do they do it? They had superhuman powers. I kept telling my primo, what's up, right? He was like, don't trip. Hey, they worked me to death. I'm going to tell you, that 20,000 was cool. We did that. That was real. But man, we worked for a week straight, never hit the hotel, never changed, never showered, never nothing, barely ate. They were never hungry, right? I had to walk my ass down to a taco truck and give me a chili verde. Shout out to New Mexico. They got some bad green chili, like bomb green chili burritos, right? These dudes, and finally, when we're on our way back, man, and I'm fucking dying of exhaustion, I asked my primo, Latin actor 209's dad, like, hey, fool, how'd you guys do it? You guys are soldiers. He's like, Scante. Shout out my boy, man. That's my family right there. That's just what it was. I was like, damn, bro. You should told me, man. I'd have did a little bumsky. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? The way you guys were working, these motherfuckers were tearing shit up. I was in that motherfucker like the struggle was real. Anyways, I come from that stock, man. It just is what it is. Real life shit. Chicano shit. Shout out to Latin Active 209. Go tap into his channel. He pulled up to Pixley. Tommy Gunz probably not happy about it. Like, damn, mate, why you pull up to my city? It's Soul Gang. Well, he did it. Don't trip, man. It ain't no disrespect. It just is what it is. With that being said, thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears. Oh, before I even say that, I'm going to wear the crown. But before I say that, one guy left a comment, oh, Gunnerz Collective sending people to people's neighborhoods. Man, I ain't got nothing to do with that shit. Stop jockeying my stilo. Okay? My primo does what he does. I'm going to wear that crown, the gun.